Hey guys, how's it going? Before we start the video, I just wanted to remind you about our Twitch channel. Twitch.tv/DexHowl is where you will be able to see all of our exclusive and live Destiny content. If you want to watch us live, you're going to want to make sure that you hit that follow button on the channel to get notifications. And on the plus side, follows are free on Twitch. So jump in chat, drop by, even if it's just to say hi. How's it going, guys? This is DexHowl, and welcome back to Destiny 2. This week, the factions have returned, and we are going to check them out, see what they're all about. Now, there are 3 factions to choose from. If you jump down here, you can see Dead Orbit is the black and white one. We have New Monarchy, which is the triangle, and then we have Future War Cult. Now, what does all this mean? Let's find out. Now, the first thing that you'll notice is the tower has been decked out all anew with flags and banners everywhere. If you can see here, we have flags and banners here, flags and banners here, flags and banners everywhere. It is definitely back in full effect. If you guys played the original Destiny, you know how amazing the gear and stuff is that you get from these factions. So they will help you out a lot for your loyalty. You have to pledge to one, and you can change it, but it just doesn't benefit you to do that. So let's jump in and we'll see what each one is. First, we're going to start with their locations. So here we are on the map of the tower, and to our right we have Jalal. Now, Jalal is the leader or liaison, I guess, for Dead Orbit. Now, Dead Orbit believes that the Earth's fate is sealed. We have too many dead on Earth, and we need to leave. We need to live in space among the stars. That's the general idea and the general gist of Dead Orbit's mission, is to actually live off of Earth. We need to find a new place to call home. Now, the next step right below him is going to be the Future War Cult's leader or liaison, Lakshmi 2. Future War Cult actually believes that they can learn from the past. In past battles, they think that there is a pattern. There is a pattern to the point that they are actually able to predict what enemies will attack them and strike first. If you think that this is going to benefit you more, or this is the style of belief that you want to follow in this game, then go for it, for sure. There's a lot of different systems of belief in this game, and it definitely shows in the storytelling. So all the way on the opposite side of the map from the hangar, we have the bazaar, and in the bazaar we have Executor Hideo. I always want to say executioner, but that's definitely not what that says. But anyway, so we have New Monarchy. New Monarchy is a little bit more organized in a way than the other factions, I think. Like, they feel like Earth is our home and we should stand and fight for it, and we should build a new city, and we should build it bigger than the last one. So there are a lot of different varying views in this game, and you can follow whichever one you choose, and each one will reward you for your efforts in their name. Now, we're going to look into detail about each and every one of them and what their actual systems are.
New Monarchy believes a strong Earth is essential for a strong humanity. We will survive together, and we will not surrender our home to anyone. We mobilized more rescue and relief efforts during the Red War than the other factions combined. With your support, we could do even more. What do you say?
Okay, so first we're going to start with Executor Hideo and New Monarchy. New Monarchy is the one faction that wants to stay on Earth and not necessarily fight for it like Future War Cult, but they want to build a greater and bigger city and a better place for people to enjoy and live their lives as they want. Now, what we mainly want to focus on as of right now, at least, is going to be the weapons that each one of these factions are allowing us to receive. Now, if at the end of the entire season the New Monarchy team wins, we are going to get this particular weapon. Now, it's only if, of course, you pledge to them. But here's what you have. The Interregnum 16, until a ruler arises, we act as simple trustees, protecting, receiving, executing. Now, here are the weapon perks that we have on this particular sidearm. First, we have Suros Rapid Fire, full auto, deeper ammo reserves, slightly faster reload when magazine is empty. Now, that actually is beneficial. That's very helpful for a sidearm. That's something that is going to be definitely helpful if you use a sidearm in PvP or in Crucible. So the default perks are Tactic SAS, Accurized Rounds, and Snapshot Sights. Snapshot Sights, starting with that one, is a faster aim down sight time. So the time frame from when you're in hip fire mode or running or whatever it may be up to the time when you're actually aiming down sight is just slightly faster, which is nice. And usually you have different sights that will change that effect and with handling speed, but this is actually a little bit different. So that's going to be the trait of this weapon, and it's not changeable. But the next step we have is actually our rounds. The rounds that we have are either Accurized, which increase range, or High Caliber, which increase knockback. Knockback is going to be that flinch effect that you feel in Crucible when you get shot. When something like that happens, you're going to hesitate probably. Most likely, that's the general idea. But the range decreases when you use this, so you may want to consider that when you choose which weapon you are going to go with or which faction you want to go with, if you're basing it solely on the weapons that they offer. Now, next we have our Tactic SAS. Again, it's an accurate sidearm sight, slightly increases range. We come down here to our Target SAS and we see our range increases, but our stability and handling speed decrease. This may or may not necessarily be worth it depending on what you are doing. Now, I have seen many people use sidearms at long range, or well, medium range, I would say, not necessarily long range, but the point is that technically range on a sidearm is viable in a way, but in my opinion, it doesn't seem like it's necessary if you can just use a scout rifle or something else of that nature in order to accomplish the same task and do slightly more damage. The only difference is the rate of fire is going to be a lot higher on something like this. Next, we have our Quick Dot SAS. Now, the Quick Dot actually lowers our range by significantly more than the previous one, but our stability and handling speed increase by a lot. That is actually a little crazy. This may be the most beneficial sight for you if you are not worried about that range decrease and you want to be able to actually get shots down range. This is going to be a definite possibility as a good gun in the future, depending on how it's used, but we will have to see if it actually comes into the main game in terms of a New Monarchy victory. If there is a New Monarchy victory, we'll see this gun a lot for sure. But moving on, we're going to check out the other two factions. Alright, so here we are in front of the Future War Cult tent, and we are about to jump into what their weapon is that is available to us. Here we go. Let's walk inside. Up these stairs, and we need to talk to Lakshmi too.
When Future War Cult predicted the Red War, no one believed. They laughed at us. They called me a zealot, a fool. But when the attack came, we were ready. We saved thousands. War is a constant. We know this. The question is, do we wait for it to find us? Or do we study war and its timelines, identify the most likely course of events, and take the fight to our enemies? You know the answer, Guardian.
Yes, it is a pulse rifle. So Heart of Time, here we are with the Heart of Time. Perhaps it exists, perhaps it does not. Either we shall find out, or we shall become it. What that means, I'm not absolutely sure, but it sounds pretty cool, right? Anyway, so we have our rapid fire frame, deeper ammo reserves, slightly faster reload when magazine is empty. So this is very similar to the previous gun that we just looked at, the sidearm from New Monarchy. Now here we are with the Candle PS sight, and this is increases our handling speed and also slightly increases range. The default rounds are actually going to be set as steady rounds. This is usually pretty good as far as recoil control goes. So I'm not too worried about that by default. So then we have our trait that is unchangeable. We have Dragonfly. Dragonfly is set for precision kills to actually allow for explosion damage for an AoE effect. If you're fighting a giant mob and you need to do that little bit of extra damage to the person maybe next to the one you're shooting at. So then we have, let's go back over to our sights. The one that we can change to increases our range, but it is detrimental to our handling speed. This is probably not worth it on a pulse rifle. Then we have our tactical magazine. As an option, it again increases our range but lowers our stability. The stability decrease is not actually drastic, and the reload speed and magazine size actually increase, so this may be a viable option. Let's go ahead and jump into the Dead Orbit version of this and we will see what it tells us. Here we are in front of the Dead Orbit tent, and I can tell you right now that this one is my personal favorite of all the factions. It is just so dark. It is amazing. I love the personality of Jalal, and we will definitely be pledging our allegiance to them, though as you can tell I already have. And as well, you'll notice that our little emblem is set there as well. Now let's check out their weapon.
As long as the traveler hangs above us, creatures hungry for its light will find us. This place is but a temporary refuge. Earth is dying. If humanity is to survive the dangers to come, we must leave this broken shell behind. Our future lies among the stars. Come with us, Guardian. Support Dead Orbit. Help us impress the consensus, refit our ships, and save us all. Welcome back.
The available weapon from Jalal with Dead Orbit, we have Haunted Earth, a scout rifle, which personally, again, I use a scout rifle more than anything else probably. At least in D1 I did, and still now I probably use a scout rifle at some point or another along with an SMG. So anyway, moving on, our Haunted Earth says, those we've lost still linger in every place we look. Earth is no place for the living. This is a quote from Jalal himself, and this is again pointing back to Dead Orbit's real